Zoe Kravitz was one of many celebrities that condemned the actions of Will Smith that took place at the 2022 Oscars last Sunday. However, unlike other celebrities, she was immediately exposed and cancelled for her past interactions with the family, namely Jaden Smith, Will's son. Let's get into the real reason why Zoe Kravitz got cancelled. After Will Smith slapped Chris Rock following a joke about his wife Jada's bald head, Hollywood was left in shock over how to deal with the incident. Zoe Kravitz was one of the people that shared her disapproval on Instagram. A few days after the event, she posted a photo of her outfit at the award show with the caption reading, quote, "Here's a picture of my dress at the award show where we are apparently assaulting people on stage now." A few hours later, she was showing off her outfit for the after party, and the caption on that photo read, quote, "And here's the picture of my dress at the party after the award show, where we are apparently assaulting people on stage now." Immediately, she started to get pushback, with commenters telling her she should stay out of it, and it's not her place to comment on what happened between the two men. Then things got significantly worse when people on Twitter brought up some old interviews that she gave, where she spoke about Jaden Smith, Will and Jada's son. Many of her comments were deemed inappropriate, and she was quickly called out for being inappropriate with him. Specifically, during one interview, Zoe said how she had a close relationship with Jaden, and at times she had to remember that he was much younger than her. In a 2013 interview with V Magazine, she made some pretty concerning comments. At this time, Zoe was 24, while Jaden was only 14. She said in part, quote, "There were moments where I was hanging out with Jaden and thinking, I can't believe you're 14. I have to check myself, like what I say to you." Adding, quote, "He has so much personality and so much swag, he is so much cooler than I am. And he's so handsome. I was always like, when you're older, you know, we'll hang out. Nope, that's inappropriate." Clearly pretty concerning that she would speak of him this way when he was barely a teenager and 10 years younger than her. But that's not all. A red carpet interview also resurfaced that is just as concerning. In the clip, we see that Zoe is on a red carpet speaking to a reporter when she notices Jaden in the background. She then calls him over and they hug during this interview. During the clip, we see Zoe call Jaden her date and even claim that he is the love of her life. At the time of this clip, Kravitz was 26 and Jaden was only 16. Zoe also said multiple times that she dragged him out to the award show that night so he could be her date. She added that she texted him that he had to come out with her, so he did. This is not the only time she's exhibited some questionable behavior. She's also been called out for her friendship with controversial fashion designer Alexander Wang. Wang has been accused of inappropriate conduct with models and other celebrities in the past, and recently admitted to some of this conduct. At first, Wang denied the multiple allegations against him, calling them fabricated. But a few months later, he shared a different type of message, expressing regret for his past behavior, saying in a statement, quote, "It was not easy for them to share their stories, and I regret acting in a way that caused them pain. While we disagree on some of the details of these personal interactions, I will set a better example and use my visibility and influence to encourage others to recognize harmful behaviors." Although he slightly danced around the specifics of what he did wrong, he did own up to some of the behaviors that he was accused of. If you're not aware of the friendship between Kravitz and Wang, it's been ongoing for many years. The friends are so close that Wang even made her a wedding dress for her, which is something he says he only does with his close friends. While speaking with Vogue about the dress, they described that Wang was, quote, working with one of his oldest and best friends. With Wang describing, quote, "Zoe was very clear on her vision, something pure, elegant, timeless, but with depth. She knew the reference she wanted, and that was Audrey Hepburn, but we didn't want it to feel too vintage or costumey." Apparently, Wang worked on the dress for over a year and did 5 fittings with Kravitz. He added that working on the dress was sentimental to him, and even added a special sentiment to it to honor their friendship. Wang added, quote, "I made a special embroidered note for her on the inside, and one for her satin lunch bag." He explains, quote, "The funny story is that she used to carry a brown paper bag around with her as her purse, and we would laugh about it. So for her wedding, I remade it into a white satin." Wang added that he would only consider this undertaking if it was for a good friend, adding, quote, "I don't usually do wedding dresses unless I really know the person because it's a personal and intimate process." The last concerning thing that fans are bringing up is the fact that Zoe Kravitz and Ezra Miller dated while Ezra was not of age. A viral tweet claimed that Zoe and Ezra dated when Ezra was 17 and Zoe was over 20 years old. The pair never confirmed if they actually dated or not, but in 2010 it was rumored that the pair were dating while they worked together on the set of the movie Beware of the Gonzo. Speaking to Collider magazine at the time, Zoe said, quote, "Ezra had the part and we met before I was actually hired just to get ready for a chemistry read, and there was chemistry." Adding, quote, "We became best friends immediately." The pair have a 4-year age gap between them, which a lot of fans found concerning. It was reported that the pair dated for less than 4 months in total. While they were working together on the movie, paparazzi snapped a photo of them passionately kissing at a club, which went viral on social media. As of now, Zoe has not commented any further on the Will Smith slap or the claims that have been made about her. However, she did turn off the comments on the Instagram post showcasing her Oscars dresses, so it's clear she does not want to deal with any more backlash. Since the slap, Smith has faced heavy criticism, and the Oscars are starting an investigation to determine what disciplinary action they will take. Will has apologized on social media and recently announced that he will be resigning from the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. Although this hardly changes anything, all this would stop him from doing in the future is voting on the recipients of the awards at each Oscars ceremony. There are approximately 10,000 members in the Academy, all of whom are expected to, quote, advance the arts and sciences of motion pictures. This resignation also won't keep Smith from attending future Oscar ceremonies. He most likely will even present the award for Best Actress in 2023, as is customary with each Best Actor winner. Smith can even be nominated and win another Oscar in the future. Academy President David Rubin said, quote, "We will continue to move forward with our disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Smith for violations of the Academy's standards of conduct, in advance of our next scheduled board meeting on April 18th. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out, but let me know your thoughts on the scandal surrounding Zoe Kravitz, and how do you feel about her statements towards Will Smith? Jessica Alba used to be a mainstay in Hollywood, but then all of a sudden she disappeared, and hasn't acted in much since. These are the reasons that Hollywood won't cast Jessica Alba anymore. First up, racial ambiguity. These days, being diverse in Hollywood is a positive, and most studios are looking to diversify their casting choices. But in the case of Jessica Alba, her ambiguous ethnicity hurt her casting prospects, because the industry is not able to fit her into a box like they do with other actors. Jessica Alba came up in the film industry in the late 1990s and early 2000s, when it was hard to land spots in big movies unless your complexion was very light. But it seems she was not white enough to get lead roles. Alba spoke to Pop Sugar about how her ethnicity impacted her casting, saying, quote, "They couldn't figure out my ethnicity. They were like, you're not Latin enough to play a Latina and you're not Caucasian enough to play the leading lady, so you're going to be the exotic one." After hearing comments like this, she was more determined than ever to play the leading lady. Since she's helmed tons of movies in her day, it's clear that she met that goal. However, that was short-lived, and she's now rarely on the big screen. In case you were wondering, Alba stated that her mother is white and her father is Mexican American. Aged out of roles. Back when Alba was in her heyday, she was starring in movies as the bombshell side character, known mainly for her good looks. Many of her roles were all about how she looked and increasing the sex appeal of the movie to audiences. Her main roles happened in her mid-20s, usually a scantily clad love interest or object of desire for male characters. She even graced the pages of adult magazines like Maxim. Since Alba is now older and more mature, she would not consider playing a role like that. But since that's all she's ever played, it would be difficult for a casting director to all of a sudden put her in a different light to audiences that already know Jessica Alba's type. And most of the decisions in casting are based on audience perception. Leading roles flopped. When it comes to casting in leading roles, it does not usually come down to talent, rather how much money studios believe the actor can make. And unfortunately, Alba has not made studios much money when she was the leading lady in her films. This has essentially blacklisted her from ever helming a movie again. Jessica Alba was given a few shots at big screen stardom in the 2000s, and sadly did not deliver what executives were looking for. There are only a handful of movies that she played a prominent role in that made over $100 million at the box office. These movies were Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which also starred other big names. Alba had smaller roles in big hits like Little Fockers and Valentine's Day, but her roles were so minimal she's hardly remembered as being in them. Honestly, most of the movies she's been in are pretty forgettable, and I would be hard pressed to name any movies that she's been in. To name some of her biggest flops, the dance flick Honey took in $30 million in 2003, Good Luck Chuck brought in $35 million in 2007, Machete earned $26 million in 2010, and Escape from Planet Earth earned $57 million in 2013. After so many box office flops, it makes no sense for the film industry to take any more chances on her. Next up, harsh reviews. Other than making money, the second benchmark of a good movie is good reviews from the audience and critics. If an actor is able to score both, they have a long career ahead of them, but not being able to get either is a recipe for disaster. Jessica Alba seems to have the disaster formula. Her movies hardly make any money, along with getting horrible reviews. Not one but two movies that she's been in, An Invisible Sign and Killers Anonymous, scored a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't even know that was possible. while tons of other movies like Good Luck Chuck and The Love Guru failed to get over 20%. Even though she wasn't the star of any of these films, the fact that she's been in so many duds has put a stain on her relationship, because there is the potential that she is the bad egg in all of them. Many people have noticed her bad acting, and she's even won Razzies in the past, which are awards given to the worst actors and movies. She's been nominated for Worst Actress 3 times, Worst Screen Couple once, and actually took home the award for Worst Supporting Actress in 2011. That type of attention is not something you want if you're casting for an important movie. Gave up. One of the main reasons Alba is not working anymore is that she decided to somewhat retire when she was 27. Since then, she's been more focused on having a family and being with her kids. Alba told Access Hollywood, quote, "I really stopped acting when I was 27 full time," adding if I did do a job, it was really kind of a short period of time. But she made a point to not shut the door on acting for good, and instead only take roles when they felt like the right fit. She told Working Mother, quote, "I'm open to diving back into acting. It's my passion and my heart. I didn't take time from acting completely, but I certainly didn't make it a focus." At this point, Alba has a big family and other business ventures, so it seems she does not regret her decision. Honest Company. Speaking of Alba's other ventures, the most successful has been her beauty brand, The Honest Company. Alba co-founded the company after she had a bad experience using a traditional laundry detergent on her kids' clothes. Her newborn daughter broke out in hives after Alba washed her clothes because the baby could not handle the strong detergent. After this horrible experience, Alba set out to make products without toxins and harsh chemicals that would be safe for kids and people with sensitive skin. She hired Healthy Child, Healthy World author Christopher Gavin as a consultant, and LegalZoom founder Brian Lee to form Love and Honor, renamed The Honest Company when it launched in 2012. The company has been incredibly successful, selling $10 million worth of products in its first year. By 2015, The Honest Company offered more than 130 products and was sold in 4,400 stores. Alba's company generated $150 million that year, right around the time it enjoyed a market valuation of $1.7 billion. Since The Honest Company has been such a success, there's no reason to go back to the acting world. TV shows did no better. Movies are generally where all actors want to be. They don't call the biggest celebrities movie stars for no reason. So when Alba had a hard time getting cast in movies, she took a shot at the next best thing, television. In 2019, Jessica Alba walked away from an acting career focused on movies and took her first leading role in an episodic television show, LA's Finest. The show was about two female cops starring alongside Gabrielle Union. The type of show was pretty typical, being similar to most other cop shows, which is not great if you're trying to get out of a rut. Critical reviews were so-so, and it scored a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, with audience ratings not being much better. The show also aired on Spectrum, which didn't help it get attention. Shockingly, the show was renewed for a second season. Fox also decided to buy the show and play reruns on their network to fill empty slots. But unfortunately, the show did even worse on Fox than on Spectrum. The show was obviously not picked up for a third season. After this fiasco, her days on TV were finished. Health is now her priority. While speaking with Romper magazine, Alba revealed that she quit acting in her heyday because she wanted to focus on her health and being with her kids as much as possible. She explained to the outlet that after she had her first child, Honor, in 2008, her mindset on everything changed. She explained how her mother had cancer when she was very young, in her early 20s, and Alba herself grew up with chronic illness as a child. These experiences made her understand that health is the most important thing in life. Adding, quote, "That's really what motivated me. My motivation was not like, am I ever going to get hired again? Frankly, I was at the top of my career. I couldn't go back to what I was doing before and be authentic. I just couldn't. I didn't care about it in the same way." After having children, Alba realized that she wanted to do something bigger with her life and actually make a difference in the world with the platform that she had. One of the main aspects of health is using clean products whenever possible, which is of course what drove her to start The Honest Company in 2012.
If you've been following our Real Reason Hollywood Won't Cast series, then you'll pick up that most of these celebrities have either built a bad reputation for themselves or decided to walk away from it all. Today we'll be talking about why we don't really see Megan Fox involved in big Hollywood productions anymore. But first, to show some love to the channel, make sure you tap that like button. I know it's annoying to hear every time, but we really appreciate it, and it helps more people find out about the channel, so that's always nice. Now with that out of the way, let's just dive right into today's video. Megan Fox made her acting debut in the family film called Holiday in the Sun that was released in 2001. This came after numerous supporting roles in both film and television, as well as a starring role in ABC's Hope and Faith. Although without a shadow of a doubt her breakout role as an actor was when she played Michaela Baines in the blockbuster action film called Transformers. She would then reprise her role in the sequel called Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, but incidents with director Michael Bay are what many attribute to her decline in Hollywood. Fox had signed up to reprise her role for a third movie with the Transformers franchise and even had gone gone to rehearsals. However, she also did an interview where she compared Michael Bay to Hitler, and he apparently was willing to forgive her, but producer Steven Spielberg wasn't so pleased. You see, after Spielberg directed the movie Schindler's List, he founded the survivors of the Show of Visual History Foundation to combat bigotry and keep alive the story of Holocaust survivors. So it's not surprising that when Fox made this comparison, he didn't take it lightly. During an interview with GQ magazine, Michael Bay responded to a question about the termination of Megan Fox from his film. He said, and I quote, "She was in a different world. On her BlackBerry, you gotta stay focused. And you know, the Hitler thing." Steven Spielberg said, "Fire her right now." Now apparently Spielberg has denied this version of the events, and Megan's representation told People magazine, "Megan Fox will not be starring in Transformers 3. It was her decision not to return. She wishes the franchise the best." Now no matter who you want to believe though, this left the screenwriters for the film scrambling to rewrite the script given that a replacement for Fox was now required. Despite claiming to just not want to be involved with the film, Hollywood deemed Megan Fox to be too difficult to work with. Screenwriter Aaron Kruger, who was on the team for Transformers Dark of the Moon, told GQ in 2011 more issues that they had with Megan adding to this point. In that article, he's quoted as saying, "She was there for rehearsals, but she seemed like an actress who didn't want to be a part of it. She was saying she wanted to, but she wasn't acting like it." Following her comments regarding Michael Bay, 3 crew members who had also worked on the Transformers franchise released a scathing statement just trashing Megan Fox. I mean, it's far too long to read out the entire thing, but I'll give you some of the highlights. In one section they say, "Michael found this shy, inexperienced girl, plucked her out of total obscurity, thus giving her the biggest shot of any young actress's life. He told everyone around to just trust him on his choice. He granted her the starring role in Transformers, a franchise that forever changed her life. She became one of the most Googled and ogled women on earth. She was famous. She was the next Angelina Jolie. Hooray! Wait a minute, 2 of us worked with Angelina. Second thought, she's no Angelina. You see, Angelina is a professional." The shade. Then in another section, these crew members start to talk about Megan's lack of interest while being on set. And who is the real Megan Fox? She is very different than the Academy nominee and winning actors we've all worked around. She's as about ungracious a person as you can ever fathom. She shows little interest in the crew members around her. We work to make her look good in every way, but she's absolutely never appreciative of anyone's hard work. Never a thank you. All the crew members have stopped saying hi to Miss Princess because she never says hello back. It gets tiring. Many think she just really hates the process of being an actress." And as a follow-up to her unceremonious departure from Transformers, Megan starred in a box office flop called Jennifer's Body. Then DC, wanting to hop on the train like Marvel with their Iron Man 1 film and Iron Man 2 film, they started using lower tier titles and released a Jonah Hex film in 2010. Millions of potential filmgoers asked the very good question of, what the hell is a Jonah Hex? Well, he's a grizzled 19th century bounty hunter with a burned face, played by Josh Brolin, while Fox played the love interest, an Old West prostitute named Lila Black. Jonah Hex proved to also be a huge box office flop, earning a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes and just $10 million at the American box office. Even Megan Fox herself realized how bad that movie was. While at WonderCon in 2016, she was answering questions about which movie she would let her kids see, and here's what Megan had to say. "Something like Jennifer's Body I'm not going to let them see for a long time. Something like Jonah Hex I'm not going to let them see ever. No one should ever see that movie." Came from herself. Now a lot of my thoughts about why Megan wasn't being cast had a lot to do with the projects on her resume more than who she is as a person. The reality is that most actors are difficult to work with, but if they are a big star, then the whole film crew just kind of bites their tongues throughout the filming. However, Megan has noticeably made a move to other mediums. She's doing more comedy with her temporary time on the sitcom New Girl, and she was just in Machine Gun Kelly's music video. But leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on what would be a better genre for Megan Fox other than action films, because I think those days are gone now. If Steven Spielberg hates you, action films are out the window.